Hello and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Jason,
I'm Andy.
and we're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. So you may notice that our co-host Megan isn't here today.
Yep, nothing here. She's not in an invisibility cloak.
She is out taking care of the store, and the reason is we're filming this a little bit early because Megan and I were taking a trip. We're taking days off from work. Gasp.
I'm being abandoned.
Yeah, so instead of not doing a show, we've collected everything up a few days early and we're going to present it to you. And I'm really glad we did because it's a huge week.
Yes.
There is so much good stuff to pre order. If we miss this week, I'd be really sad. Now, bear in mind, we typically do make the show hours before. I'm sorry, we finish the show hours before we put it on.
Yeah.
And covers have changed. Since we're doing this a couple days in advance, there may be a few things different. I think most of it's going to be the same, though. So without further ado, let's launch into it because we really have a lot of really big issues to go over.
Yes.
So we're going to begin with our featured comics, starting with Robins.
Robins, this is a really exciting one.
Yeah, it has a very interesting history to it.
Mm-hmm.
In that DC, what was the tournament that they hosted?
It was called just like DC Round Robin,
right.
I believe. Which is funny, it's called a Round Robin.
I know.
It should have given away who was going to win.
I wonder if that subconsciously put the winner in people's head. So you may even have voted on this because DC let readers vote on different comic ideas that they didn't think were ever going to get published. Like they were cool ideas, but it's like, we want you to tell us which of these and we'll publish it. Well, it was, I don't know, like 10 or 12
It was
comics.
a lot more than you would think for a contest like that. They did like a bracket system.
Yeah, a lot of them sounded really cool, and this one was the winner. So it is going to be a 6-part series. Now, what is it about? It features 5 of the Robins. It features Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, and Damian Wayne. They all come together for a certain reason to discuss being a Robin and was it worth it? Because, you know, a lot of them have transcended that and become their own things. Well, as they gather, they're attacked by an unknown assailant. And this unknown assailant claims that she was the original Robin. So this could be a pretty major thing if this turns out to be accurate.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone knows their Golden Age Batman. Maybe there's, you know, some issue that nobody can afford anymore.
Yeah.
Where there was a character who could kind of claim that they were Robin. Anyway, she claims that she was the original Robin and that none of them deserve the mantle and none of them should have ever been trained to be it. So obviously somebody with an axe to grind.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to think, what's her reasoning? Was she actually a Robin? Or is she like, I was Batman's sidekick, I was basically a Robin. You know, it's
That's
like,
what I'm hoping for.
Did Batman ever call you Robin, or do you call yourself Robin?
As much as I love first appearances, I'm hoping this is just a deep dig into the golden era of Batman.
Yeah.
She's like, I knew him when he had the purple gloves. Yeah, so I don't know, but it's really cool that the readers have decided this, and so hopefully it's going to be a good book. I enjoy reading all the different Robin series right now, and it's no surprise that this one won as popular as many of the characters are.
I remember looking at the bracket, discussing with people when it first launched, and we were all like, oh, yeah, Robins is going to win. Because Robins is a book that was even kind of teased years ago, where it's like, man, they should do a team-up of all the Robins. And I think finally they put it out to people. People were like, yes, we want this. I mean, there's just as many Robin fans as there are hardcore Batman fans, because you've kind of grown up with these characters.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our regular cover, and then we have this Babs TARR cover.
Yeah, so they're doing this series of variant covers for all the issues of this that are workout covers, which is such a, I mean, I hope we get like a month of all like cooking covers, and it's like Batman in the kitchen frying some bacon. Or
I think
something.
It's got more to do with the muscles than it does with the skills.
Not for me. I want to know
kitchen.
Batman's cooking prowess.
So yeah, you're going to see lots of shirtless, sweaty Robin covers, except for Stephanie Brown. She will be working out though.
Yeah,
She'll just be a bit more clothed than this.
Next up is another big one. I couldn't believe when I was putting the show together, all of the like, oh, this is a thing we've been talking about for a while, and it's finally here all in the same week. This is Devil's Reign, #1. This is going to be a 6-part series spinning out of Daredevil, which we just talked about with the last issue that was ending. Same creative team, so it's Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto, and this is uh, Kingpin's grandest plan. I still feel like this is going to be good for people if you haven't read Daredevil. It seems like this is incorporating enough of the Marvel universe that it will be accessible.
That's what the cover shows.
I mean, the cover, like Daredevil is just one of many characters on there. So this is going to be really cool because turns out Kingpin has been keeping some secrets. He has some, what do they call them? Dark secrets about Marvel's greatest heroes. So I like this because Kingpin, he doesn't have any powers other than he is an unusually large man.
With an unusually large brain
and bank account.
Yeah.
So apparently he's so smart, he's actually kind of collected information about these characters you see on the cover, and he is going to use that to further his empire, seeking greater things than just New York. I don't know how he's going to plan on doing this, but I guess kind of turning the populace more towards him and less towards the superheroes. But it says that he has got stuff to expose about Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Captain America, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. I mean, he's been keeping a lot of cards up his sleeve.
Knowledge is power.
Yes, and so I mean that's the scariest part about Kingpin. Yes, his like person-sized fist is also very scary, but he sits up in his tower and he moves pieces around. So this is going to be, like I said, a 6-part series. It is going to have quite a few tie-in issues, but it's tie-ins involving these characters, and I think kind of the ramifications of these secrets that are going to be exposed about them. And also, since we are doing this show a little early, we only have the one cover for this one, but by the time this goes up, you'll be able to go and look, and hopefully they'll have the other covers up by that time.
Yep, so there are variants, just look out for those.
Yes.
Okay, so now it's time for the Wonder Woman Corner, because there are 2 different Wonder Woman miniseries that are launching. The first one is Wonder Woman Historia. So this one's going to be real different than the other one I'm about to talk about. This is supposed to be the entire history of the Amazonians. And it begins with Hera and the other female gods being really dissatisfied with a lot of the actions of the male gods.
I wonder why. I mean, they seem like such upstanding, honest, faithful people.
Well, so that said, they decide to start a different sort of society, which is the Amazonians, and they begin that. And there's some things that happen with the Amazonians, but the main thing that changes it all is they run across Hippolyta, who is a woman. She doesn't just start out an Amazonian. So they run across her, and because of her, wars begin. And I mean wars not just on Earth, but all the way to the gods. So that is what this first issue sort of promises. It's a 3-issue series. As you can see, it's magazine size. So one of those sort of oversized magazine size issues. And as I said, it's a 3-parter. Then the other series it's starting is Wonder Woman Evolution. This is an 8-part series. So the one is like the history of all the Amazonians. This one is more where's it all going in the future, because Wonder Woman has gone through all these trials of the gods. Well, it's not enough, because now there is this alien force that pulls her away from Earth and starts putting her through trials, both mental and physical trials. And Wonder Woman is acting as a proxy for humanity. It is one of those scenarios, sort of, are humans worthy? Is humanity worthy continuing? Well, thank goodness they picked Wonder Woman.
I was about to say, you picked the best.
I'm glad you didn't pick me and start just beating me and be like, how long can you take this? Take Wonder Woman, please. So she represents Earth in this. Now, why is this alien doing this? Where is it all ending? I don't know. I mean, with 8 issues, you got a lot of room to work with. So just 2 Wonder Woman miniseries launching, but very, very different. History, and then, I think with Wonder Woman, now that she's not a part of the Justice League, they're just able to do all these different stories with her just being the central character. I mean, you saw what happened in Death Metal. They pretty much were like, you're the most important
basically
DC
you're
character
worthy
now.
of being a god.
Yeah.
Like, not just a superhero level, like demigod. Like, you've got a place in this pantheon, and she kind of turns that down. But
Yeah.
maybe also in the history one, you'll learn about the Well of Souls and where
All of
all the
that
Amazons come from.
from Nubia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be. So this is the regular cover to that, and then here is the ROSSMO variant.
Next up, so we usually don't, Batman's been going for a while. We'll show you variants here and there or
Right.
anything, but we had to show this one. It is the final issue. This is Batman 117 of Fear State, and also James Tynion's last issue on Batman. This is going to be a big one. I'm surprised they didn't do like some jumbo final act in-game issue, but this is just a normal issue, and it is going to be wrapping up the stuff from Fear State, wrapping up a lot of Tynion's storylines, but also kind of giving hints to where things are going. So in this one, it claims that the Anti-Oracle is going to be revealed, who they actually are, and that revelation is going to give people second thoughts about Gotham and the people in Gotham. And it makes me think this is a character either that we know or is a pretty prominent character that we did not know is behind all of this. So that is what's teased, along with stuff is set in motion for the Batgirls and Barbara and Stephanie and Cassandra Cain, which we know they're getting their own series. That's going to spin out of this. And the stuff where we know Batman is, from what they say, leaving Gotham for the next story arc, so we may see a little bit of that as well. So, yeah, going to be very exciting. Sad to see Tynion's run on Batman. He's created so many incredible characters, incredible storylines that I really hope people take and use going forward. Maybe Williamson will.
A monumental run. Tom King started
Uh-huh.
this whole Batman Rebirth, and I think, everybody was very impressed, but it sort of fizzled later.
Yeah.
And Tynion had to come in, and I don't think anybody expected what he was going to do.
No.
The revitalization, all the new characters, the Joker War arc, and now Fear State. Pretty amazing. I think this is going to go down as a historically awesome run on Batman.
At a very fresh start for a bunch of new characters that we'll probably see a lot going forward.
Most people reading it are not ready for Tynion to leave.
Right.
He's not leaving because he's being pushed out, that's for sure.
Exactly, yeah. Feels like he's kind of at the top of his game right now. So we'll have to see. But this is the A cover, and then we have the Molina variant there with Miracle Molly and Harley.
Yeah,
and that is the artist that's going to be, I believe, the artist coming up is Molina.
Yep, that will be the new interior artist. So Miracle Molly, she has her platforms that hover. It's sort of like a Mega Man villain or something. Okay.
This continues it.
Yes.
We also get Batman Secret Files, the Gardener #1. So this is, I'm going to guess, our last of the Batman Secret Files, unless they continue that after this. But it seems very tied in with Fear State and all of that. But it's going to explore the Gardener, who is Bella Garten, who we've seen in the series so far, but there's still a lot of mystery surrounding her. We know a little bit of her relationship with Poison Ivy, but this says it is going to have more about how did they meet and what influence she may have had in Pamela Isley becoming Poison Ivy back from their history. And this one is also written by James Tynion, so you do get an extra dose of Tynion right there, right at the end of his run. So this is the A cover for that. And then we have the EJIKURE variant.
I'm glad Tynion's writing it because I was really impressed with the Peacekeeper 01 secret file that I read this week. I think when he comes up with characters, he must do some sort of personality and history write-up of his own. Yeah,
that's smart.
Because they feel like really detailed characters. So I'm looking forward to finally hearing about the Gardener.
Yeah.
More than her just kind of kicking it around. Okay, so Captain America and Iron Man are getting their own 5-issue miniseries. It's been a little while since these two have had just a series
Hmm.
where it's about them hanging out. They've had their ups and downs,
Yeah, they've
like
been on
Civil War.
opposing sides of things. Yep.
Yeah, despite the fact being near founding members of the
Hmm.
Avengers. I mean, you can pretty much count Captain America. He,
He's
he
he's
he
in the
showed up a little
he's
late.
in the single digits.
Yeah, if he hadn't been frozen, he would have been there. So, what is this about? There is a government agent who has turned Hydra, and they're taking this agent to prison. Not Captain America and Iron Man, just regular people are taking her to prison, and there's a daring escape. Well, Captain America and Iron Man, this comes up to both of them separately because it turns out they somehow have ties to this person.
Hmm.
It is not revealed how, but it's sort of a personal thing. And so each one learns that the other one had ties, and they go, well, let's team up for a miniseries, figure this whole thing out. But of course, as they're trying to find this escape person, a lot of revelations happen, and one of which is that there is another interested party who is more malevolent who might be pulling the strings from the shadows.
Hmm.
So that's all there is so far on what this is about.
Well, and Captain America doesn't have a series right now. He had this last miniseries. Now this one, I feel like we're getting ready for a new Captain America something. We're getting those in between little bits before that's launched. So.
Yeah, that's true because United States of Captain America just finished this
Yeah.
last week. Okay, so this is the A cover. Then we have the Clark variant, Red Skull back there.
It's really cool.
And then we have the Gleason Stormbreaker variant.
Gleason always doing good work.
Yep, double punching.
So it takes a lot of coordination, a lot of timing to get a double punch right at the right
so
time.
I meant to ask you if you know why this one is this way, if this is an error. So here is the
I was wondering about that as well.
KUBERT Infinity Saga variant, and this is the picture. This is the official cover they have up right
Yes.
now. I'm assuming this is an error.
I think it's an error, but I mean, this is going deep on it. If you see the line, it actually has like a little bit of a shadow where it looks like the art is like it's supposed to look like something curling over, but it's also not considered like a sketch variant,
Right?
Because it has KUBERT on it, and the title is small. It's like it made room for that cutout.
You're right. The title is small.
This if.
But it could just be because the art, they didn't want the title.
Is this going to be a connecting and it's going to make a big star or something?
I don't know. So I saw it and I wasn't sure. I was hoping you knew.
Leave your comments and your theories. What is up with this cover?
So this is the KUBERT Infinity Saga variant, which means, typically when they have Infinity Saga variant, they're going to have other ones that
Yeah,
connect it.
but that's the ones that are like tied to movies. Maybe this
Yeah.
is mid Thanos snap and half of the cover is getting
It's a little more than half, but
yeah. Next up is another big one, another big
yes.
event type series. This is Star Wars Crimson Reign. This is our second reign this week. First we had Devil's Reign, now we have Crimson Reign. And this is the next chapter in the 3-part saga that started with War of the Bounty Hunters. This is also by Charles Soule, who wrote War of the Bounty Hunters. And this one, where the first series was more about Boba Fett, but Qi'ra was in it. That was kind of the big reveal, I believe, in issue 1, that she was behind Crimson Dawn, the kind of criminal organization. This one is going to be way more about her and what has she been doing this entire time. What is her overall plans? Because this is going to be a 3-part epic, with this being the middle part. It's supposed to... There's some interesting wording when I was reading about this one. Untold history of the galaxy during the Age of the Rebellion, which is the time frame during the movies where this takes place. But Charles Soule said he wanted to use new characters from every era of the Star Wars universe. So if this is set in one era, it makes me think we're going to get some characters from... maybe Old Republic, maybe prequel era, but kind of moved around in the timeline. We do know on one of the covers, and we saw at the end of War of the Bounty Hunters, that Ren, like the leader of the Knights of Ren, where Kylo Ren got his name, is going to be in this. So he's from the sequel trilogy era. But just knowing how Charles Soule writes Star Wars, how he wrote War of the Bounty Hunters, there's going to be a lot of surprises in this.
Yep.
A lot of surprise characters. And we'll see it here with one of the variant covers. There's a connecting variant cover for all these issues. I believe it's 5-issue story. The center one is a really interesting one where it is a Imperial TIE fighter pilot with the helmet on, so you can't see who it is, and it looks like they're doing something with their hand that it looks like they're using the Force, and it's the center part of this giant run. It's kind of the center point of it.
So that would be for issue 3, probably.
Probably for issue 3, but it makes me think there's going to be some characters, some mysterious characters that we maybe didn't know. Somebody has Force powers, and I don't know. I think this is going to be a really exciting series. It's kind of taking the most exciting part of War of the Bounty Hunters with the reveal of Qi'ra and Crimson Dawn, and at some point she took it over from Darth Maul to run it, and we're going to get to see a lot more kind of behind the scenes of the criminal underworld. It says starting from the lowest levels of the underworld all the way up to the Imperial Palace on Coruscant. So everybody's going to be involved in this. I'm very excited about this one. So this is our A cover. Then this is the first part of the connecting cover, so it's the far left one. This is the Anindito variant.
So when Andy was showing me these, he's like, look at the connecting. He's like, this one, not a lot to it.
Yeah.
It's nice, but not a lot to it. But then look at the others, and we're talking about for issue 2 through 5,
yeah.
And issue 3 is the one he was going on about. When you see them all, they're awesome. So this is going to get under order.
I was about to say, you need to order this one because you're going to want all of them, because Ren from the Knights of Ren is on one of them. This mysterious TIE fighter pilot, the Emperor. There's some really, really cool ones with kind of some hidden stuff in there.
Yeah.
And then this is the U variant, but they're calling it the Warriors, I think Warriors of Dawn variant, which might be the team that she put together at the end of War of the Bounty Hunters. There's some interesting characters that showed up there. So really, really exciting for Star Wars.
Okay, so now we're going to launch into other number ones. We promised at the beginning of the show this was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just featured some big stuff, but even some of these other number ones are pretty big deals. Starting with X-Force Killshot Anniversary Special. This is a one-shot, and as it says, anniversary special, for the 30th anniversary of the creation of X-Force.
It's a good way to make you feel old.
And comics keep me young. So Rob Liefeld is back. He is writing this. He is doing the covers. He's doing the art. I'm about to show you a whole bunch of covers that he's involved in. But what is the plot about? The plot sounds really neat to me. So Cable puts together 5 different X-Force teams from throughout different eras.
The greatest hits, probably.
Exactly, yeah, but 5 different complete teams, because he's a time traveler. He can do that. Now, why does he do this? Because he wants to, once and for all, take down Strife. And, of course, Strife is sort of like the dark version of Cable, so he also time travels. It's just, he's tough to beat. He's like a whack-a-mole. You hit him in this time, he pops up in that time. So you're going to need 5 teams to be all over to potentially do it. So I'm really interested just to see what these teams are, who he puts together. If there's one thing Liefeld can do, he can write comics that just appeal to, like, your kid cool side.
Yeah.
Like, cool, look at that. And that's what I'm hoping to get out of this. Just some really cool, different X-Force teams trying to take down Strife.
It's also interesting that they start off the A cover having Shatterstar on it.
Shatterstar.
You think you would start off with Cable or even Deadpool or whatever, but good for Shatterstar.
Yeah, I think Liefeld feels like Shatterstar deserved more love that he got.
I love Shatterstar. Great, put him on there.
He's got... they all have aspects of the 90s, but I think he's the one that, like, got left behind in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, I think Liefeld's trying to pull him along. But they're supposed to be, because of these 5 teams all throughout time, there's supposed to be some revelations and some betrayals. I'm looking forward to that. Some betrayals amongst the teams. So we'll see. I mean, X Force, they've always been the team to do the dirty work. They've always been sort of the darker team.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
It's a lot for a one-shot. To put together 5 teams in just a one-shot?
It's anniversary special. I'm not absolutely sure it's a one-shot. I think it is, though. To tell you the truth, I'm not positive.
Probably an oversized one-shot or something.
Yeah, could be. So so these are all connecting. So the A, here's the B. There's Deadpool.
Yep, he got the B.
Yep.
That's good.
Here's the C cover.
Major X.
Major X.
Great to see Major X back. I'm a big fan.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the D cover,
which is that venomized Deadpool.
The venomized Deadpool.
Very cool.
And then here's the E, Domino. Gotta have somebody in there.
With some of Venom Deadpool's hand just creeping in there on the side.
Gotta have somebody in there who's a bit more serious than Deadpool.
Yeah.
Although I guess Cable is. And then here he is.
There's the man himself.
Yep. So. And then here is just another cover. Actually, this is the A cover.
Oh,
I have my screens out of order. So this is the A cover. The Shatterstar one was just one of the many connecting covers. So this makes a little more sense now. You can tell we had a lot to do today in preparation for the shows we're doing. And then this is the J. Scott Campbell Domino cover.
Really cool.
Yep. And then we've got Liefeld doing another variant.
He just can't stop himself. He's on a roll.
Nope. And I mean, a lot of covers this. Lastly, Ron Lim.
Really cool. Of course, Ron Lim,
Yep.
like, it's in his contract. He gets a variant for everything.
He gets to do at least one in every 5 variant series. He gets Ron Lim, and I'm fine. I'm totally fine with that.
So next up is a tie-in. We've actually got a couple of tie-ins for Death of Doctor Strange. This is Death of Doctor Strange Blade. So basically with the Death of Doctor Strange event, when Doctor Strange died, like the Marvel Universe didn't know all he was kind of keeping at bay from invading. Well, when Doctor Strange died, Dracula and all of his vampires celebrate. They're like, great, he was one of our enemies. But they're celebrating up until one of the creatures or the things from another dimension that he was keeping at bay attack the vampires, and they're in their territory. So where does that leave Blade in? Well, last time we kind of left Blade off, he had actually been made sheriff of the vampires for Dracula, even though his job is to kill vampires. So this leaves him in an interesting decision area where does he defend the vampires from this extra dimensional thing, or does he help it go ahead and wipe out the vampires for good? I'm guessing we're still going to have some vampires after this, but this could be a pretty big turning point in how many there are and kind of Blade's relationship with Dracula and the rest of the vampires, depending on his decision. So that is Death of Doctor Strange, Blade. Then we have Death of Doctor Strange, White Fox. Once again, we talked about a long time ago when these books were coming out. You have not seen, these are not one and done characters from Agents of Atlas. And White Fox, this one was interesting. It was a little bit harder to figure out how this ties in with Death of Doctor Strange, but this one finds White Fox framed for the murder of innocent people. Not necessarily, I was trying to figure out, is she framed for the death of Doctor Strange? No, she's blamed for something else. It seems like maybe that is caused by some of the things that have come.
That sounds like
from the beyond. But as she tries to uncover the truth about who actually did this, she finds secrets pertaining to her origin. So this is actually supposed to deal a lot with her origin, where she kind of comes from, and what are her ties to Doctor Strange. It hints that maybe her and Doctor Strange have something in common. So, sounds pretty cool. It's an interesting one to include in this as a one-shot.
Well, when Doctor Strange was killed in issue 2, they go over the different areas that these things are creeping out. Like one is Antarctica, so it's worldwide, and I think that's what has pulled in White Fox is, you know, if it's all just characters from the regular MCU, like it's like, oh, they all
broke through. They broke through in New York, and all the New York heroes are here.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously Blade is over in Europe, if he's with vampires. So I just think that's probably why.
Yeah. So this is our A cover, and then we have our. I'm not sure which one this is.
Looks like Swordmaster is coming in to help though too.
Yes. So we have this variant, which I
think that's the Inhyuk Lee.
Okay, yeah, that's the Lee variant. That's what I was thinking. And then we have the Peach Momoko variant.
So pretty.
It is very, very cold looking.
Okay, another cool #1 is Wastelanders Wolverine. We are returning back to the world of Old Man Logan. So this is after all the stuff. If you read all the Old Man Logan stuff, this is the next chapter of that, where most all the superheroes are dead. Logan had to go up against Hulk and you know who he had become. Well, now he's protecting a baby. It's Hulk's baby that he's protecting. I guess that's his baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Except a lot more destructive. And there's the big question: is that a good thing or a bad thing, considering how bad it went, you know, with Hulk in the future? So that's one of the plots that this explores, but it's also going to explore. There's a new villain whose name is Downfall, who comes after Old Man Logan, and he has a suit of adamantium armor.
Oh gosh!
So that sounds cool. This is a one-shot, but it has a bunch of other one-shots that link in with it.
Yeah.
There's going to be one for Doctor Doom. There's going to be one for Black Widow, one for Hawkeye, and one for Star-Lord, all in the Old Man Logan universe. So
it's interesting that, you know, they pulled Old Man Logan out of this kind of universe for a while, and he was a member of the X-Men. And they also kind of got rid of him then. But it's cool to see, like, they're not done with his story yet. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in that Old Man Logan wastelanded universe. So next up is one that I feel like you should talk about more.
I've been looking forward to this.
But this is Giant Size Black Cat Infinity Score. This is the final part of the Infinite Destiny story and the Infinity Score story that has been running now for about 2 years. Which, I mean, since, you know, the stones went away and then some of the characters that are involved with it have come back.
That's true. Now you mentioned that.
So it's been a long process of this, and Black Cat has been kind of the spearhead of collecting what's, you know, the Infinity Stones, or the people who are now part Infinity Stone. And in this one, she now possesses half of the stones, which is kind of a big deal. I mean, even half of the most powerful weapon in the universe is still a pretty gnarly thing. So she has that, but Nick Fury and Nighthawk are not done with her yet. So they are still hunting, and it teases in the solicitation that can Thanos be far behind. So I think that's a thing we've all been kind of guessing about. It's like, where's Thanos? If you pull out the Infinity Stones out, you know, he's going to be after you. And I think this plays a lot into your theory about what's going on in Thor with the missing hammer. We know that there's that teaser of Thanos with the hammer, with the Infinity Stones on it. I feel like we are just very soon going to hear an announcement about a big event. I know, it's weird that these different threads all have mysteries going on right now. Thor has a mystery, and the Infinity Stones, So this is going to be really exciting if you've been following the Black Cat story or the Infinite Destiny story. This is going to be a very important one to get. So, yeah, that is the A cover. Then we have this really nice Lee variant. Yeah, it's a Ji-Hung Lee. That's awesome. And then we have the Johnson variant.
You know, luckily, even if people are like, okay, Infinity Stones, it's already been done so well in the past, you know, move on. The Black Cat series has legitimately just been a really good read. So Infinity Stones or not, it's been an awesome read. And also, she's collecting the stones, but she's collecting the stone bearers because the stones are fused with people. So even though she has 3 of them, it doesn't mean she can use them. I mean, you know, one of them is Star. Star is like not an individual who works well with anyone. So, you know, so that adds complexity to it.
And I feel like this is the most different we've seen the Infinity Stones kind of translated into a story. It's not, we got to go around the universe and gather them, or Thanos already has them. This is kind of throws a spin on that, having these people involved.
Okay, so next up is a new one from Vault Comics called Radio Apocalypse. So this sounds pretty neat. I like apocalyptic tales. This one, the Earth is suffering because an asteroid has hit. One of the many things that could, you know, potentially doom us. And in the aftermath of that, it has destroyed most all of technology, except there is one lone radio station that is still around on the whole planet, and that is Radio Apocalypse. They continue. They're sort of a beacon of hope in the world. And so the few people who can find it go to the town, whatever's left, where it is. They're able to pull them towards it. I'm assuming they also play like cool music and stuff.
I was about to say they're definitely playing like "Don't Stop Believing." They play that every day. You know, they spin the hits. There's O'Reilly Auto Parts commercials.
So as refugees find this little town that's left with the radio station, there is one refugee named Ryan. I'm guessing that might be the character right there. And it doesn't say what, but he does something that's like considered a social infraction. You know, who knows what you're allowed to do and not do and say in post-apocalyptic society. Well, he does something that gets him in trouble, but it says his fate gets intertwined with the radio station itself. And so he begins, they say he begins kind of making a sound. I don't know if this is metaphorical or if he really does it. They say he makes a soundtrack for the end of the world. Yeah, I don't know if they mean like the story's that way or if he's literally doing that. But I like the mixture of music and comics. I'm also a very big music fan. So to me, this sounds like a story I'm definitely going to check out. End of the world at the last radio station. I mean, that's a good elevator pitch right there for me. So, and here is the variant cover on that.
Wow, that's pretty intense too.
Okay, so next up we have... Oh no, there are more number ones.
There's more number ones. That's how big your brain was like. There can't be any more.
I thought we were at the next part.
But there are. This is Marvel Voices Indigenous Voices 2021. So Marvel's made these Marvel Voices things now kind of an annual event book. So if you remember the previous one, these are kind of oversized one-shots with creators, artists, and writers of kind of the spotlighted thing. So this one is all done by talent from indigenous communities, spotlighting characters from indigenous communities. So you've got Echo, which is now a really big one. That's actually, it does not list all the characters involved in this. It says like many more to be revealed. So I'm interested to see, but you can kind of get a hint on the cover who's going to be in it. But they do mention Echo is a big one in this. Also, you can see on the cover we've got Forge. So pretty cool. You've got Danny there from X-Men. So this is our A cover for that. Then we have, this one is, the artist's name is Boney, which is a really cool cover. Then we have the David Mack cover.
Mack. Oh, yes. Very cool.
We have the Terry variant, which is another really cool one.
I'm surprised they didn't call this Stormbreakers because it was literally a storm breaking.
And then we have the Wolf variant, which is Wolf is an artist we've seen just recently start to do a lot of stuff. But who had their first appearance in the first one of this? It was the new Ghost Rider, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, this one, these slip in some pretty big first appearances and stuff.
Yeah, they did the first appearance of Somnus, that new X-Men character in one of them. So, I'd say about half of them have some
Mhm.
first appearance. So next up is Demon Days Rising Storm, which is the next one shot in the Demon Days uh, quintilogy.
Yeah.
There's 5 of them.
Okay.
And this is actually the 4th one. I thought I'd catch everybody up on where we are because they've been really good, but they don't come out monthly because of all the labor that goes into
Yeah,
this.
I mean, one person
Yes.
basically doing all
Peach
this.
Momoko doing everything. So in this one, Mariko, who we see right there, she comes across some the land of the gods. Like she runs into some gods, and judging by the cover, I would say, Rising Storm, there's Storm there on the right. But the one on the left, I think that's Thor. I mean, I see a hammer.
Yeah.
And so the solicitation doesn't tell me a lot, but the cover tells me that there's going to be some battling going on with 2 different gods that could be considered weather gods. So I'm really hoping we get to see Peach Momoko's Thor go up against Storm.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool in this.
I know Storm in this she's like a little girl, and Thor's a little bit older, but they were teased in the end of the last issue. But I'm really interested to see what her take on them is, because she definitely has like a whole different feel for her characters. Like Wolverine is an actual wolf, and Mystique was like this very mysterious woman, like kind of highwayman type character. I don't know. It's a really cool how she's reinvented.
It's nothing you can guess. You just have to like buckle in for the ride. So this is our regular cover, and then we have the Girihuru variant cover. And then this one is next up. We have X-Men Demon Days Director's Cut. So this is the Director's Cut of the X-Men Demon's Day
which was
issue.
I guess that's considered the first one.
Yep.
The one with Psylocke and all of that in it.
Which I'm sure will have a lot of, extra info, the sketches, just the process. So if you're into that, that is also available for order.
Next up is another part of our Darkhold series, this time with Black Bolt. So I think this is really funny. It talks about, the Darkhold is this kind of cursed book, and Scarlet Witch gets 5 people to read from it. So who do you get? The guy who, when he talks, he can blow up.
Yeah, you don't want him opening his
blow
mouth
up
like
things.
This.
So interesting that he was chosen, but with all of these, the battle that they face is not necessarily physical. It happens inside their minds. And with this one, one of the incentive variant covers shows they're called like the defiled versions. We saw that with Wasp, with Iron Man, where they're kind of messed up. Black Bolt is very scary looking, so it doesn't give us a whole lot of info about this issue, just that he's now going to have a battle inside of his mind, kind of against some of his greatest fears and some pretty nightmarish things.
Okay, so this next book is really weird. We took a deep dive trying to figure this out.
Kind of delayed us starting because of us researching this.
So this is from Scout Comics. It's called Third Wave 99. Now, the solicitation swears up and down that there was a surf clothing company back in the late 90s called Third Wave 99. And this was in Florida, and that they were a very controversial company. Something very controversial occurred, and because of what went down, this rising company just suddenly got bought up and vanished and was gone, leaving just the memories of the people who experienced it back then. And that's it. They also claim, and this is supposed to be in the book, that it started out as more of a place where people could get help for. It was more of a support group for people to stop doing things that were just harming themselves. And so started a support group, turned into a line of clothing, had a bunch of controversy, and ended. Well, I just feel like I know stuff from the 90s. I'm like, I've never heard of this. So I started looking it up, and I have to say, I can't find any evidence that this is for real, other than it might be them talking about the Hurley Company. It seems very linked. It sounds a lot like Hurley to me, and maybe they weren't able to say the names. Either that, or it's just like a really cool publicity sort of thing they're doing.
Yeah, they have a website, and you go to the
Yeah.
website, you're like, oh, this looks legit. And you go to their contact info, and it takes you to Scout Comics
Right.
contact info. It's like,
but you can buy clothing that says Third Wave 99 on it.
yeah,
However, we know that there are third party places that'll print any clothing you want
Mhm.
without you having to actually produce anything.
yeah,
So anyway, back to the comic. This might be a marketing ploy, but I respect when they go far enough along.
mhm.
I think that's cool. So the comic is supposed to be about the rise and fall of this surf company in the 1990s. They're claiming it's based on a true story. It might just be, I don't know about this true story, but they got me hooked. I have to check it out now.
Yeah.
I love a good mystery. And I really looked into this. I went to eBay. I'm like, there's got to be like some vintage third wave clothing on there. Couldn't find any, but could be wrong. I don't know. So Scout, well played.
Or if you're from Florida and you're watching this, and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm wearing a pair of pants from Third Wave right now, well, put us to shame and let us know in the comments.
Yeah. So. All right. So now we're on to cool covers and other comics.
First off is a book I am very excited about. This is Hulk #2. I'm very excited about this new run of Hulk by Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley. And basically the solicitation for #2 says the same thing as #1, but we now know that Bruce Banner has taken control of Hulk. He's got him, basically he's like piloting him like some kind of weird mech suit. You even see in his eye, that's a little like Bruce Banner sitting in a control chair,
Yep.
which is more of kind of a metaphor for how he's controlling Hulk. But it says that what he didn't take into account is with every scientific experiment there are variables, and he didn't account for some that may shift the control back over to Hulk. It also teases as he is going through space, going into the deeper regions of space, that he is not going to be alone. So I don't think they've revealed yet who his traveling buddy is going to be, but I'm very interested to see who's going to be his sidekick on this adventure.
Rocket Raccoon.
I mean, that could really work. Or Beta Ray Bill, I'm hoping. But
it's just that Rocket premiered in Hulk,
Yeah.
So let's get the team back together, even though they never really were a team.
No, they didn't necessarily get along. And then we have this variant cover. This variant cover is by Woods, and this is the villains variant. They're doing this for a lot of books this month, where it takes your heroes and says, like, what if they were one of their own villains? So this is Hulk as Kingpin.
Oh, yes, it is.
There's going to be a lot more of these. I think this is the first one, but there's some really cool ones coming up. We'll have on some future
That's
shows.
That's a good idea. I did not know they were doing a line like that.
Yeah,
That's
and it's
really
based
cool.
around Devil's Reign,
Okay.
the Daredevil event. So,
okay, so next up is Venom #2, the book taken over by Al Ewing with Ram V.
Mhm.
So issue 1 isn't out yet. I can't really tell you what's happened in it or how good it is, but I will say that they're claiming when they're talking about issue 2, they're claiming that issue 1 shocked, intrigued, and terrified us.
wow, it hasn't come out yet, and they already know how we're going to feel about it.
Shocked, intrigued, and terrified. So get ready for #2. Here's the cover for it. It doesn't look like things are going too well for Eddie Brock there.
No.
Or Dylan, perhaps. And then here is the local comic shop day cover by John Boy Myers. So this is one shops are going to not order many of. Not every shop does the local comic shop day variants. We'll be doing them. I don't know why shops don't, but every year it's just under ordered. So this is a good time to let your shop know that you want that one.
Yeah,
for
people
sure.
really been talking about this cover. I mean, it's awesome. It's so strong and sharp and everything that I definitely think this is going to be one worth picking up. Next up is the variant cover. This is the Stormbreakers variant for Amazing Spider-Man 80. And this one is, this issue also sounds cool because Craven sends Spider-Man, who is currently Ben Reilly, into a hallucinatory spiral that will test his sanity. So I imagine Craven's gonna like blow dart him or something, and we're gonna see. But I'm liking how Amazing Spider-Man's been going, and I really like this variant cover.
Here is the Peach Momoko variant cover to Hellions number 18. In this book, the orphan makers' actions threaten to end the Hellions. So just wanted to make sure everybody who collects the Momoko stuff didn't miss out on this one. You got all the eyeballs that Momoko loves to draw there for you.
And this is also the Momoko variant for
Inferno.
Inferno.
Yes, I forgot. I had another Momoko after my first Momoko. We pushed them together. So this is Inferno number 3, the second Momoko variant. Wow, there's two of them.
Yeah, this is the first of the Momoko variants for Inferno with Destiny and Mystique, and then the next one is also Momoko doing 2 variants for Inferno. This one with a really cool... You don't see her do this kind of cover too often. It's action-y. You don't see her do characters like Magneto too often, so I think it's a really cool one.
All the Momoko blew my mind.
You couldn't handle it. Next up is Nightwing number 86. This is the Jamal Campbell cover. He's been doing all of these covers. I love this one because it has Stephanie Brown on it. She's one of my favorites. But also in this issue is Nightwing, Tim Drake, and the new team of Batgirls team up to take down the Magistrate's Skybase. And if you read the solicitation for Batman, it talks about the attack on the Skybase and what that means. So it looks like this final part of Fear State, they all got their missions that they're all going on. So it sounds really cool, and I love this. This cover is really cool.
So this is the Brian Level variant for Batman vs. Bigby number 3. So pretty brutal stuff going on in this cover. And in this issue, a even larger than Bigby wolf appears. So maybe Batman and Bigby can stop fighting and team up to figure out what's really going on.
And I just think it's interesting because we know in the series we have a lot of Robins because they're being trained.
Yep.
Looks like one of them doesn't fare so well.
I know, that's looking, problematic. Either that or they're running around naked going, at least I'm not dead.
Next up is Justice League number 70. This is the Lozano variant. I really like that Green Arrow and Black Canary are getting some love now. It seems like they were kind of out of the picture for a long time. This issue also sounds interesting because it doesn't say who, but that they are going to bring back someone from the Dark Multiverse in the Justice League Dark backup story. Huh. So we thought we were done with the Dark Multiverse. Apparently someone's still out there. So.
Okay, so this is the Matina variant for Suicide Squad King Shark number 3. Defacer is going to have to team up with Man King, even though she's just now deciding that she's kind of likes King Shark. But
how can you love that face?
Yeah, so this is the Matina variant for that.
Next up is Gunslinger Spawn number 2. So I read Gunslinger Spawn number 1. I really enjoyed it. And what it says about this one is really cool. So this is the A cover. But in this, Gunslinger Spawn stumbles upon a vampire cult in their plot to kill Al Simmons. So you're getting some Old West Gunslinger Spawn versus vampires. And that's what a good Spawn book is made of. So this is our A cover. Then this is the cover for King Spawn.
It's like a negative photo.
I know, they did this with one of the other ones too, and it's a very odd looking thing, but it's really cool. And this is the Fernandez variant, I believe?
Yes.
Yes, the Fernandez variant.
Or actually, no, I think that might be the Alexander. And
this is the Fernandez. Yeah,
yes.
Where Spawn's got the whole world in his hand.
Yes, he does. So this is the B-covered Echolands number 4. In this issue, the team is going to have to brave the depths of the ocean. I can't wait to see how...
Man, the ocean across the 2 pages is going to be beautiful.
Yeah, so this is the variant covered Echolands number 4.
So this is interesting. This is going to be two books to talk about. But first is Army of Darkness, 1979, number 3. This is the Hassier variant. And, of course, homaging Ninja Turtles number 1.
Yep.
And then our next book is Purgatory number 2, also homaging Ninja Turtles number 1. So it was funny. I guess Kanto was the first one in recent memory to do this, and they've done it a few times, but it looks like Dynamite's like all of our books, Ninja Turtles.
So, and I have to say, they snuck some in last week.
Yes.
So after we did Comics from the Future, they released some other covers that were available for order.
Vampirella, maybe?
There were 2 different ones. One was Vampirella. I can't remember the other. But, you know, like us retailers, we are under the gun to order these things. So we had less than 24-hour notice of, oh yeah, here's some Ninja Turtle number 1 homage variants, and they were good. So I placed a bunch on order. I mean, I knew we didn't have time to get the info out to our customers. I saw them. I'm like, this is good. And now I learned, you know, this week, oh, they're doing it for a bunch of books.
Yes.
I wish we had more notice, but I'm happy they're doing it.
Yeah, and anytime somebody homages Ninja Turtles, it just blows up. That Kanto variant, everybody wanted that one.
Okay, and here is Miskatonic, Even Death May Die. This is a magazine-sized one-shot for everybody who enjoyed the other Miskatonic stuff from Aftershock.
Yeah, cool that they're continuing it, and it's interesting they're doing, you know, the other one was regular size, and they're doing like a magazine-sized one-shot. And I don't believe Cthulhu ever appeared in the last one. I mean, we got deep ones and everything, but this cover is pretty awesome.
Yep. Okay, so now we're on to other printings and graphic novels, the final part of our show.
First off is, no surprise, this is DC Horror Presents Soul Plumber number 1, second printing. I don't know if any store was fully prepared for people coming from everywhere who don't shop at comic book stores, but they listen to the last podcast on the left podcast, who this is by, and man, we sold through a ton of these. So thankfully they are doing a number 1 second printing.
All right, so Conan the Barbarian is getting a facsimile comic of his number 1 by Roy Thomas and Barry Windsor Smith. This is a book, if you want to just go get the regular number 1, the original, you're going to shell out hundreds of dollars based on the condition. So instead, pick up this facsimile of a just awesome, just historical comic. Here's your chance to order one or as many of them as you wish.
Next up is some pretty cool graphic novels. I like that Boom Studios is doing these. This week we got the Something is Killing the Children hardcover volume 1 special thing. This is Once and Future Deluxe Edition hardcover, volume 1. This will be $59.99. And I love Once and Future. I think that is a super underrated series. I don't know how many people out there read it, but Gillen with art by Dan Mora is awesome. Arthurian legends and modern day kind of mixed. Really fun. And they are doing this just like they did the Something's Killing the Children. So this is the hardcover volume 1 for $59.99. And then we have the slipcase variant. Or I guess it's not a variant, but it's the book with the slipcase for $79.99. And we were just talking about the Something's Killing the Children one. It came out, and people are already reselling it for like double the price.
Yeah, and you know, the demand was more than they could print, and so everyone got allocated. Stores didn't get as many as they wanted, and when that happens, when you know supply is far under demand, that price goes up. So
yeah, and I just feel like this. We haven't seen the last of Once and Future. It's such a good series. It would make such a great like HBO series.
Yeah, people have been clamoring for it to be optioned. It's probably the top book that I've heard people want optioned. That there's just been no word on that yet. So, okay, so the last one to go over is The Art of Goosebumps. This is a $29.99 book with 200 pages, and in it you're going to see all of the covers for all of the Goosebumps books. Plus, there is going to be fun facts about the books and about the art and everything like that. So if you're a fan of Goosebumps and that crazy style art,
I love, and that's what I mean. When you see a Goosebumps cover, that's what was the main selling point originally. Is just some of the most iconic characters and art.
Yeah, a little bit gross, definitely horror, kitty enough, but it didn't look like cloyingly kitty.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Slappy the Dummy. It's still horrifying. It doesn't matter your age.
Yeah, you could tell when you were a kid, this is stuff your parents probably wouldn't completely approve of, which meant it was perfect.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so that is our show for this week. Once again, we have filmed this a few days early, so there may be more variant covers out there than we've gone over. Every once in a while, they'll push a series back in the last few hours. We tried to pick the biggest ones, the ones that we thought were not going to change. I bet we're mostly accurate this week. So thank you. Bear with us, as you know, I got to take some days off. And we'll be back next Friday. Megan will be back with us. It'll be business as usual. We'll probably do the show for another 9 straight months before taking a break, like we did this time. And also, just for those of you who watch all our shows, our Tuesday show, we're about to film that.
Don't tell them that. I've got to go switch shirts and shave.
As well. So our Tuesday show, we do a review on all the comics that have arrived. I won't be around for that, and I can't leave that much work for just one person. So instead, we have some advanced copies of some of it we're going to go over, and then we're going to talk about the rest of them, but we can't do our full thing. So I'm just letting you know right now, our Tuesday show is going to be a little bit abridged, a little bit different, but the show must go on. We're still doing it for you. So thank you very much, and we will see you next Friday.
Subscribe.